Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar on troubleshooting desktop subscription license issues, also known as rental licenses. My name is Jeffrey Asbury. I'm here with Byron Morales, and Byron's going to be presenting this subject matter, and what we're really going to be going over today is an overview of what desktop subscription licensing is, and then some common issues that you're going to be potentially running into when using this license type. So the format that we're going to use here is we're going to start with a presentation on desktop subscription. Afterwards, when Byron's done presenting, we'll open it up for questions. If anyone has encountered any issues and needs some advice or has any questions about the content we presented, we'll take Q&A after the presentation. And if you have any questions during the presentations, you can ask them in the questions window, and we can address those as they come up, or you know, if it's a good question, we can present it for everyone during the Q&A session as an example.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Good morning, everyone. And we'd like to invite you also to our future upcoming webinar events. The next one is next Thursday at the same time. And you can register here. It's open for questions and answers and review of our past webinars. Follow the link and you'll be able to register for that one. And so you have an idea of what we've been talking about. This is the 12th webinar that we're doing. And here's the list of the previous ones: network licensing, license files, installation, network deployments. And you on your here's a link to the slide deck, and you see the 12 at the end. You can remove that 12 and add the 6, for example, if you want to look at the network licensing errors, and that will get you to the slide deck as well. The bottom link gets you to our YouTube channel. Autodesk own YouTube channel. We've been recording these webinars, and you can review them at your own convenience as well. I think I have a. Here's what where you would register, and here's our YouTube channel here, and you can see all of our webinars listed there as well. Okay, so now let's get on the subject matter, and this desktop subscription. What is it and how does it work? What is desktop subscription? And this is our newest licensing model for Autodesk software. It's pay-as-you-go software. You pay on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis. It provides scalability. Depending on your projects, you may add licenses, add seats, or scale down to address those projects as well. It gives you up-to-date software. We're in 2015, so in about 3 months, we're going to be releasing our 2016 software as well, so you will have access to the latest software. It gives you additional cloud and software services as well, such as faster rendering, visualization capabilities, collaboration tools, and secure storage as well. The term offering, you can rent products and services on annual, quarterly, and monthly basis. It uses named users, basically usernames. All users of the offering are named and associated to the contract. Only named users can access the products and services. Offline support, initial activation, authentication, and authorizations require internet access. After, users may then go offline for up to 14 days is the offline grace period before being required to connect to the internet and reauthorize again. The installation is the same installation file, same product key. The only difference is the serial number. The serial number determines the license type. So you'll be able to use the same installation file as your perpetual licenses and the same product keys as well. And this shows you some screen captures of the regular same installation. You select standalone, you put your serial number, product key. Next. So what happens after the software is installed? You hit finish, and now the software is installed. Well, here's the workflow. It will first launch. It will show this splash screen. You go through a privacy policy. Then you sign in. It gives you a sign-in window. And then basically, if you have the correct username and password, then it gives you allows you to run the product. Any subsequent launches, this splash screen comes up. You no longer get the login window. It stores it, it caches it for you, and the product runs. And on the right now we have the unnamed user or term license expire. Basically, if you don't have a username or a valid username or your license has expired, what happens? The splash window comes up and then you get a contact admin dialog, basically saying you don't have permissions to run the software, enter a correct serial number, or sign in as a different user. You also have a quit button there as well. Because you are allowed to use it offline, we have a report soon splashing that comes up. It will let you know, hey, you have 4 days, you have 7 days left, please connect to the internet. And at that point you have a choice to ignore the button, then the product continues to launch, or you can hit try again, connect to the internet, and then at that point the product reauthorizes, and then the product runs as well. The last one is report now and no internet connection. Let's say you do pass the expired time, or you do not have internet connection. The splash screen comes up. It requires internet, and then you have a choice to try again to connect to the internet. And then at that point, you connect to the internet, you put the correct login, and then the product runs. If you do not have internet at that point, all you can do is quit at that point. I'm going to go to this screenshots here. Here's the first launch, the privacy statement. If you do not agree to the privacy statement, you will not be able to continue, so you have to agree to it. So here's the license activation as we are normally accustomed to seeing. This license activation at this point, it contacts our registration activation servers. At that point, it tells them, hey, this serial number is for desktop subscription. At that point, you are presented with the login window. So here's the Autodesk ID login. The desktop subscription offering requires end users to be named in the Autodesk account portal in order to access products and services. For products which are activated with the term license type, users must enter a username and password during the first launch of the product. The combination of the Autodesk ID, product identifier, and the serial number are used to authorize the product on a regular basis. The licensing framework caches the login name after the authentication so that users can operate the desktop products offline for a longer period. Like previously stated, it's 14 days, but every 7 days you have to connect to the internet to be reminded. There are some limitations to this. No single sign-on between the desktop license and the cloud service. Basically, you have a login. Even if it's the same login, you have to log in again through the product to access our cloud services. There's no method to log out of the desktop license, and there's no accurate usage tracking if multiple users use the same desktop computer. So what are the issues with the desktop subscription? Where these issues can be technical and administrative, and we're going to go through these ones as well. The administrative issues. Here's the operating block site, and we encourage you guys to visit us at the operating block site. We have a step-by-step instructions here on how to set up your Autodesk desktop rental software. And we have we're reaching 3 million hits, so if you want to be the famous one to click the 3 million hits, please go ahead and visit us. So here's the step-by-step. You buy the subscription. Step number 2, you get a confirmation email, ask you to log into manage.autodesk.com. And by default, the person that buys the software is the contact administrator. Later on, you'll be able to change that if you need to. But by default, you'll be the contract administrator, and you'll be automatically assigned the first seat. You have to invite others, and then they'll receive an email. They have to go into their account and at that point activate their account, and then you'll be able to assign the license. So this is step number 3 here. I do have this one's enlarged. So here you go. You see that this person, they bought 3 licenses, and of which 2 of them are available because the first one is automatically assigned to them. Step number 3, you can download the software from here. And we recommend browser download, especially if you have more than 3 seats or more than 1 seat, because the same browser download installation file you can use on multiple computers. So browser download is what we recommend. It gives you more control over the installation file. So now you install the software, but you need to know what the serial number and product key. This is also in this page here. It gives you different serial number and product key. The product key will change in each year version. The serial number not necessarily, unless you have your term expired and you have to renew it. Then at that point you get a different serial number. So now you have to assign users to use the software. You go to users, you invite users, you add a person, and then you edit the access to give them, then you assign the software here. That checkbox needs to be checked in order for that person to use the software. If this is not checked, they will have a correct username and password, but they don't have access to use the software. When you invite someone, the gray circle icon means that you have sent them an invite to use the software, but they have not yet logged in to set a password for their unique account. A green check mark means that the user is okay now. And this is referring to this right here. So you invited, in this case, David invited Apto, and the status is still gray. That means Apto has not logged in and created his password for the account. Okay. We do have this is the steps here without the screenshots. We do have a step-by-step on our knowledge base as well, and that includes a video, and that was also very helpful here, setting up user permissions for products and services for and support. So here's a video which shows you the step-by-step on how to do that. This is very useful for contract managers, especially if they have several contracts, several serial numbers that they need to manage as well, and several users as well. And if at any time you guys run into any problems, you guys can contact us. We have a dedicated form for user management. And if you click on this link, it will take you to this screen. As you can see on the top, we have a chat assistance. You can chat with us immediately at that point if there's a chat representative available, or you can fill out the form to submit a case. And we strive to respond to those cases as soon as possible. Now, those are administrative issues. So now let's go and jump into the technical issues. You know, one of the first things that we see on the first launch at times is the connection error. And this is a known issue. And this has to do when the user launches for the first time, but his machine is off time. Basically, the time is not correct from the local time zone. Instead, at the dialog box, user will get the connection error dialog as shown below. To fix this, the user has to correct the machine time or time zone. Most of the time, this corrects this issue here that has to do with the time. Here's a report soon screen, as I previously mentioned. In this case, you know, you have 4 days left. You have to establish that internet connection. Report soon. If a user is offline for more than 7 days, user will get the report soon notification. This means that the user needs to connect to the internet so that the application can submit information to the Autodesk server. So term expired. Desktop subscription is offering a rental which has a periodicity and can end the customer's complete rental period or cancels a contract. The licensing framework has added a periodic authorization check to verify that a contract is still active. For products which are activated with a term license type, the authorization check will occur upon every product launch, provided the user is online. The user may go offline for a length of time currently set as 14 days, offline allowance, after which the user must connect to the internet in order to become reauthorized. When the authorization fails because the term is expired, the licensing framework presents a workflow for the user to change a serial number and reactivate with a serial number which could be associated to an active contract. There are some known limitations to this. To change the desktop license for one contract to another, the user must perform the change serial number workflow for each product in the suite. And what this is referring to, if you installed a suite and the, for whatever reason the serial number expired, the term expired, you are then issuing a new serial number, you will have to go into each product of that suite that you have installed and change the serial number to the correct one. And here's some screenshots of this. This is renew your license. This is after your term has expired. This is the dialog box that you will get. The old serial number is recognized as expired. At this point, you have to enter a new one, and then you will hit activate. And this is where you will go in and change it on the previous products. If you have into each product, if you already updated this, if you need to update the serial number on each product. If a product starts but login dialog doesn't show up, you will need to open and verify the product information dialog, which should show the license model as term. In this case, it's showing you standalone locked. Right? Did you see that on the license type? If it doesn't show the license model as standard, then the product has been incorrectly activated and needs to be reactivated with term license. And this has, we go back to scalability. You may have different license types. You have different serial numbers. Some are perpetual license and some are term licenses. And inadvertently, you mix up the serial numbers. So you wanted this computer to have a term license, but we use the incorrect serial number in this case, and therefore we're using a perpetual license. If you need to change that, you will need to hit the update button here, enter the correct term license, and then hit activate. And if you're using in this case, is a Building Design Suite Ultimate, you will have to do this on each product as well. So unnamed user. The desktop subscription offering is a named user model and requires end users to be named in the Autodesk Accounts portal in order to access products and services. The licensing framework has added a periodic authorization check to verify that the user is on the list of named users for the given contract. For products which are activated with the term license type, the authorization check will occur upon every product launch, provided the user is online. Once users have logged in with an Autodesk ID, the licensing framework uses the user ID along with a product identifier and serial number to authorize the product use. If users are not authorized, they are presented with a workflow to either swap contracts, serial numbers, or log in as a different user who may be authorized to use this product. And what this is referring to is maybe you do have a valid valid username, but it's associated with a different contract. So maybe you have two contracts, and one is for Maya and the other one is for AutoCAD. And in this case, you're trying to use the AutoCAD LT username. In this case, it will not let you say, hey, you need to contact your administrator to request permissions to use this. And at that point, you can sign it with a different user or a different serial number for that as a matter. So here we go back to managing users. These are administrative issues with the username and passwords and contracts. So we refer you back to these steps. Make sure that you have the proper username and password. Make sure that the software has been activated and assigned to that person. In order for them to use it, they have to have a green check mark, and they have to be assigned that software in order for them to be to use that software. So what are the most common errors that we see? Technical errors. Connection error. We discussed that one already about the time difference. Also, the most common one is the established internet connection to continue. This could be several things that could be wrong here. And we have a workflow for it. We do have a workflow in our knowledge base. Let's go there right now. And here you go. And this walks you through the steps, step-by-steps of how to resolve that issue. The most common issue is proxy settings. Here you will have a proxy, either automatic detect settings or use this proxy and send you to a different IP address. This is on your internet options on your computer. And basically you go in there and uncheck everything. At that point, you should be able to reconnect. Mind that if you click OK and close this window, those check marks may become checked again. Those boxes may become checked again. So sometimes we recommend you leaving this window open, hit apply, and leave this window open and re-log in. But if that doesn't work, try a different login ID, different username on the computer. Sometimes it's a permissions issue. and then you'll be able to address that at that point. Check the local time, as we discussed previously. If you're behind a proxy, make sure it's they're not blocking the connection. It could be your antivirus. McAfee has some issues at times with it. And also, if you already tried all the previous steps and still does not resolve it, we recommend that you rename this folder. It's under C, username, app data, roaming, Autodesk, and it's called ADUT. You simply rename it to, you add a 2 at the end. At that point, when you relaunch the software, it will recreate this folder. And hopefully, if there's nothing checked for the proxy at that point, it should let you log in. For further troubleshooting, you can do a telnet to confirm that you have access to the desktop subscription. On our workflow here, we also, during the process, we have you open accounts.autodesk.com, just the website. You do not need to log in, just to verify that your computer can access the website. So here's the step-by-steps, same as before, but without the screenshots. Now, this is for Windows. So for Mac, we also have a workflow for it. And, we go and remove the folder or all the subfolders under ADTU under this location here. And let me show you the workflow here. This is the for the Mac. You check the date and time. Click Open Preferences, uncheck the Set Time Automatically. And if at times, sometimes, we resolve the connection or logon issues on a Mac operating system, you may need to copy this folder from a known user account that is working properly to the one that is having a problem. Sometimes the one that is having a problem doesn't have access to it. Same thing as in Windows. It could be a permissions issue. It could be other virus issue or something. For whatever reason, you don't have permissions to write to that folder under that user account. If you create a new user account on the Mac operating system, then you could be able to copy the contents from that one to the problematic user account. Those are mostly common issues as well. One thing that we use is to troubleshoot this issue is a program called Fiddler. And we do have a knowledge article here on how to check it out and use this tool to help you troubleshoot some of these issues. This is not as common, but it's for your reference as well. On our Up and Ready blog site, we do have other suggestions. Here's for the McAfee. Cannot establish an internet connection. You disable HIPs on the McAfee. And we have a step-by-step on how to do that as well. Okay, we also have additional tips and tricks on our Up and Ready blog site. As previously mentioned, please visit us there. We do have other free tools from Autodesk. We have image editors, screencast, and more Mac tips on the Up and Ready blog site. And now we're going to open it up for any questions that you guys may have.
Hi everyone, if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the questions panel. One thing I wanted to address that came up during the presentation that I think it's important for us to go back on because there's some confusion about it, which is what exactly is happening on, what is the software doing when it launches, what is that check all about, what are the requirements it needs to actually get through. So as Byron mentioned, what's happening when you launch the software is it's going to make a connection to the Autodesk licensing server, and this is going to happen every time you launch the software. If it's got an internet connection, it's going to try to do this check, and it's going to just validate that the license is still valid for the user who's logging in. If no internet connection is detected, that's when it starts the 14-day countdown. So it's not like you have to do this every 14 days. it keeps validating that license every time you launch as long as an internet connection is there, and the 14-day countdown only starts if you have no internet connection or it can't reach the Autodesk license server for some reason. So if it does connect to the license server, then it's going to validate that that user still has a valid license. It's going to reset that clock of 14 days and let the user in the software. So the 14-day countdown is really the last time you had internet access, not like 14 days since the first time you launched the software. Okay, so we have another question. So is the option to provide a new serial number after the term expires new? We've had users who have not had that option. So it's not new. It's been there for a while. I believe since the licensing type, the term license type started. What they should have is, a screen that tells them that they need to contact their administrator, and then what they need to do is they need to double check that if they've got a new serial number also, that is assigned to their Autodesk account. Because it's not enough just to put in the serial number, but also to check the under managed users that user has that new serial number assigned to their user type. Another question, can a desktop license be moved to another user if people leave or move to other projects? So the answer is yes, as long as that other user is still under the same contract. So essentially the contract manager will be able to go in, they'll be able to see all their users. They can go into one user and they can uncheck, for example, say you have AutoCAD LT, you have only one desktop subscription seat of that. If you go into that one user who has it assigned, you can uncheck that access for them, take it off of that user, then it's available to be put on any other user that you have. If you don't have that user in your contract, you can create a new user, put their email address in there. They'll get invited and get an Autodesk account. You can assign that feature to them, and then they can log in. So what happens is the original user, if they try to log back into the software, they would say that they need to contact their administrator because they no longer have access. The new user, when they log in, would be able to go through and get into the software. So the thing that you can't do is move it from one contract to another. You can't change companies, but within the same set of users, you can move these licenses around to whatever users just by unchecking the boxes that these users have access to in the user management screens. Okay, another question. What about moving a desktop subscription from one PC to another? So the desktop subscription is tied to the user account, not to the PC. So it's unlike standalone licenses, perpetual standalone licenses in this way. So what you can have is you can have the software installed on one system, you can install it on another system, and you can try to log on that second system with that same user account. It'll let you do that. The problem may be is if you happen to have it logged on in two places at once, you're going to get you're going to have a problem with that unless you're using a different login that has also access to the software. So only one concurrent login, but it doesn't matter if you have it moved to a new PC. The desktop subscription isn't particular to which systems it's installed on, but rather which accounts are logged in. Any other questions out there? Okay, well, if no one has any other questions, I'd like to thank everyone on behalf of Byron and myself for coming out and attending our presentation. I hope that the desktop subscription has opened up some other avenues of use for you and allowed a little bit more flexibility in our licensing and hopefully you won't run into any of these technical issues, but if you do, I hope this has been a resource for you as well. Just remember, if you think of some questions, you can always come to the Autodesk forums, ask your questions there. We'll be monitoring them and be happy to answer any that come up. And then always feel free to visit our Up and Ready blog site, and we always putting up articles there so everyone can stay up to date on what the latest issues and solutions are. Thanks everyone for attending.